Hello, this is King Sir Raphael. I'm coming to you guys once again with another speedrun tutorial. This time around, we're going to be looking at the dungeons known as the Grave Dungeons, and we're going to be utilizing a team composition known as the Dauntless Team, which was featured in Season 1. Before we get into that, please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and also share this video so more content like this can be made in the near future. Without further ado, let's take a closer look at the 3 boss mechanics within the 3 Grave Dungeons and the team composition that I used to beat these dungeons in less than 20 seconds. The boss mechanics within the 3 Grave Dungeons are pretty straightforward with some differences you need to keep in mind. Although these differences are very small, these differences still need to be accounted for and need to be adjusted to accordingly in order for you to beat all 3 bosses within the same time frame of 20 seconds or less. The boss in the Grave of Venom spawns green orbs next to the boss to increase his damage. Although it is possible to kill the boss without destroying the green orbs, the boss becomes more challenging while the green orbs are present unless the green orbs are destroyed. Which is why I strongly advise, unless you've become extremely lucky within the RNG of your gear farming, that you target the green orbs first before destroying the boss. The boss in Grave of Curse utilizes buffs for itself and also buff removal to maximize his damage output. For if you notice while attacking the boss at Grave of Curse, the boss will gain an attack buff as well as attempt a AoE buff removal before attacking the opposing team with an AoE strike. Because of this, you want to draft a unit that has buff removal to negate the boss's attack buff. Not only that, but you want to have a unit that has a set that gives an AoE buff to your team or a unit that gives an AoE buff to mitigate the boss's damage. For the boss, will do increased damage to units that have stripped buffs or units that have buffs expired before the boss's AoE strike occurs. The boss at Grave of Rot utilizes an AoE strike that has debuffs and also consumes the tank or closest unit while engaging the boss. For this reason, you need to draft a unit that has debuff mitigation as well as healing to make sure the team is protected from the possible debuffs that the boss inflicts. Also, you need to have fast and constant damage against the boss so the boss will drop the unit it's trying to consume. Having said all this, it's time to look at the Dauntless team composition that I used to beat all 3 bosses in less than 20 seconds. The first unit we're going to be looking at is my primary damage dealer, Nasjinka. Nasjinka is the exclusive Dauntless legendary hero. She's a melee type unit with an AoE strike as an ultimate and in my opinion has the highest Dauntless type DPS in the entire game. For her item build, I use an item that has a set effect that will increase her damage as long as her HP remains higher than 50%, as well as another item that will increase her damage as long as the target is afflicted with a defense penalty debuff. In addition to that, I gave her an item known as Ancestral Guidance that will give her a lifesteal effect per basic attack, as well as Chaos Symbiosis that will improve her attack by 6% per Dauntless hero that's within her team. The next unit we're going to be looking at is the Dauntless type DPS unit known as Evelios. Evelios is a DPS hybrid that does single target damage as well as give buffs to his Dauntless allies. Instead of him utilizing attack, crit chance, and crit damage like most DPS, he utilizes something called derivative damage as well as attack. The derivative damage is actually improved by improving your enlightenment stat. The enlightenment stat actually improves your derivative damage by 0.5% per enlightenment point. For his item build, I utilized an artifact known as Queen's Fan that will improve his derivative damage based off of how far he is from the target. The damage buff that he gets from his artifact is 7% per tile away from the target. Aside from the Queen's Fan, I gave him these following items for his item build. For his head slot, I gave him Fearless Challenge, his weapon slot, Chaos Symbiosis, his chest slot, Death Record, and then finally for his arm slot, Strike the Unprepared. With these items, I've increased his overall attack and derivative damage as long as he stays above 50% HP, He's allied with other Dauntless heroes, he inflicts a mark as he does derivative damage, and he attacks the target that has the defense penalty debuff. For our next hero, we're going to be looking at the single target Dauntless hero known as Tarival. Tarival is a single target rapid fire DPS that has a damage spike when it is that he utilizes ultimate ability. For when he utilizes his ultimate ability Marksmanship, the hero's attack increases by 15% for the next 12 seconds, and each basic attack has 20% chance of triggering multi-shot, firing 3 arrows that deal 120% of his attack per shot. Moving on to the next hero, we're going to be looking at the Dauntless single target hero known as Sutha. Sutha is by default a single target DPS, but instead I'm utilizing Sutha as a tank instead. The reason why is because Sutha does have more survivability in comparison to the other Dauntless DPS, and also the more Dauntless units that I have in my squad, the more damage overall I will be able to do. For this reason, I gave Sutha the Brotherhood Spirit set that will improve her defense overall, as well as enable a elemental damage buff for the entire team every time Sutha procs her ultimate. In addition to this, I gave Sutha the artifact Witch's Remains to give her increased accuracy as well as a 60% chance to inflict defense penalty too. And finally, we move on to our support units, and the first unit we're going to be talking about is the support tank known as Audilia. Audilia is a support tank that has an AoE heal, an AoE debuff cleanse, and gives the entire team debuff immunity. For this reason, I decided to improve her HP and defense and resistance and gave her the artifact Titan's Rib. With Titan's Rib, every time she resists a debuff, she will improve the team's overall attack damage by 15% for 10 seconds. The next support unit we're going to be looking at is the support unit known as Nathaniel. Nathaniel is a rare support unit that I use as an alternative to Audilia. It's not because Nathaniel's better than Audilia by any means, but it's because he's in the same affiliation as my Dauntless team. For if you have 5 units within the same affiliation, you will get a buff that will significantly improve the overall attack and survivability of the entire team. And there you have it. This concludes my speedrun tutorial for the Grave Dungeons. I'd like to give a thank you to the Dragonheir community for giving me this opportunity, and also content creator via TikTok, AngelSent069, for helping me create this video. For everything Dragonheir, please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and also follow me on Twitch via twitch.tv/Kings3Raphael. Once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Catch you guys next time.